As we go about our daily routines, climate change isn't necessarily at the forefront of our minds. We are not always in tune with what's happening around us. It only becomes apparent when we feel the impacts. Climate change is the gradual change in conditions such as temperature and rainfall in a region over a long period of time.
We have noticed that the temperature has been increasing consistently for the past 150 years. So it is now 1.2 degrees warmer than it was for the past 150 years. So we have seen a gradual increase of temperature. We have also seen that some places rainfall has increased on a yearly basis. In other places, the rainfall has actually decreased in some places. We know that nights are now warmer than they were before, and we are now seeing more extremes. So some places are getting much hotter.
And Belizeans can certainly relate to the increase in temperatures as they brave the sweltering summer heat. But what's causing climate change?
Human-induced climate change is occurring in a shorter time scale. And that is caused because we are changing the composition of the atmosphere. We are now putting more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere than we were before, trapping the energy from the sun and causing it to warm more and more.
The greenhouse effect occurs when gases like carbon dioxide and methane, which are naturally present in the atmosphere, trap the heat from the sun, warming the earth. This process is needed for human survival. But the problem occurs when too much of these gases are released into the atmosphere, ironically, due to human activities.
We are now burning much more coal than we were before, and petroleum-based products for heat and for energy. When we burn coal and these petroleum-based products, we create more carbon dioxide, and that goes into the atmosphere. And when it goes into the atmosphere, it will last up to 200-300 years. It will stay in the atmosphere before it comes out. We are also now eating more meat than we were before. And because of that, we now have much more cattle than we had before. And when cattle eat grass, they also then emit methane through their digestive system. So that methane goes into the atmosphere. We never had that before. Put it in the context of the Caribbean. We are seeing, because the sea is now warmer than it was before, we are seeing many more episodes of coral bleaching, more intense, lasting longer. So our coral reefs are being affected by climate change because of bleaching. We are seeing more, because of sea level rise, much more coastal erosion. We're seeing saltwater intrusion into the coastal aquifers. So where people used to be able to drive wells and get fresh water, that water is now being salinized because of saltwater intrusion into the aquifers. Tourism will be lost, fishing will be lost. In addition, because of sea level rise, we will start to lose our beaches, our keys. And people living along the coastal zone and in the Keys will then have to migrate inland. So again, causing more pressures. Because of climate change, our ecosystems now have to adapt to a new normal. And if they cannot adapt quickly enough, then we will see the losses there.
Small island developing states, such as Belize, are facing social, economic, and environmental challenges due to climate change. At the center of this global crisis are communities which are hardest hit by the impacts.
Most of the vulnerable communities or the marginalized communities or communities that are impacted by climate change more frequently are local and indigenous communities. When you speak to a farmer and you say, the cropping pattern, it has changed, I can no longer plant this time. What we would once consider the rainy season, it's no longer there. So it brings about a level of uncertainty, and this uncertainty is more seen within the agricultural sector. When it trickles down from the farm to the household, it changes the dynamics, right? So this is what I would consider climate change on the ground, the impacts of climate change on the ground.